Hi everybody, how are you today? I'm doing okay. This is Peg with the fast version of Art Joyous Sharing. Each week, Chelsea and I do a live show on another channel, which is a combined channel, Art Joyous Sharing. We also have a Facebook group, Art Joyous Sharing, where we issue challenges to the group and, people share their artwork and, we talk and share and help one another. But today, the show was all about collage. So Shell was going to work on a heart surface doing a paper collage. She does paper piecing, collaging, beautiful work. And I decided I was going to do some abstract work. And these are cheap panels that I had done some acrylic pours on that had gone badly. And I thought, well, it's still a surface I can work on. I like working on a hard surface rather than a canvas. So this was just raw wood on the back side of one of these panels. And actually I had a couple of them, so I thought, well, I'm going to, go ahead and get started on a couple of them. Because as long as I have the paint and glue and stuff out, I might as well work on multiple surfaces at once. I like to do that. They're going to all be individual and different just because of the choices I'm making when I'm putting things down. But I like the fact that, the colors and things that I'm using are playing off of one another. And so I'm going to use several different papers to collage down first. At the beginning of the show, you saw a pile of things that I had pulled from my stash to work with. That's what I like to do. I like to go and shop my stash and find the things that I think are going to work together to create a project. So I went and looked at my papers and a few embellishments and things. And some of the papers are artwork papers, that I just printed off on my laser printer. And I'm tearing pieces from some of those other pieces to use in my collage. Some of them are papers out of magazines, some of them are wrapping paper, and some are actual handmade papers, textural papers from the art store. So, you can use a variety of things on here. I just like to mix it up and find the colors and textures and things that I'm looking for. I really wanted to make some textural papers for this today, but didn't get around to it, had other things going on this week. So I just grabbed from my stash. Here's some paper that is gel printed on some craft deli paper. So you can see there's quite a variety of things. I'm also going to use several different tapes. These are like wallboard tapes that you use when you're putting up wallboard and patching holes and that kind of thing. But I like the texture in it, and so I'm just going to use my Deco Art matte medium to glue all that paper and tapes and things onto my surface. And yeah, I'm starting to think about, I've got those things down. Now the next step will be thinking about paints and textures. So I'm just going to sand the edge where the paper was hanging over and take it off. And I'm, showing you that because this is collage and because it's abstract, you can look at your piece in all kinds of different ways. So, I'm turning the piece around, seeing which way I like it the best. I like the fact that there's the contrast between the lights and the darks and the texture. And that's pretty much what I'm looking for, is a place for your eye to go, to have a resting place and an interesting place for it to travel to. So now I have this new stencil from Stencil Girl and some, this is just craft store, dollar store stuff from Halloween that I thought was interesting, textural fabric. So I'm going to use some light molding paste, and I'm going to put that through the stencil because now I'm creating those texture elements on here. So I'm cleaning off the pieces that are ending up where I don't want them. I'm going to add more of that light molding paste through my stencil, continuing the line across my piece and breaking up some of that design that's in the background. So I've got the two pieces, and I'm gonna use some of that light molding paste also as anchor for this material. I can just push that gauzy material down into that light molding paste, and it'll hold it in place. You know, I don't like to use things like hot melt glue. They don't hold up. So I like to use these artist supplies, which are going to stand the test of time. So now I'm using another stencil from that set. These are Stencil Girl stencils, and this one was designed by Mary Beth Shaw and Seth Apter. And I'm thinking that the organic part definitely looks like a Mary Beth Shaw portion. And I'm liking the changes to my surface already just from putting that down. Now there's another section on there that has little squares and things. So I'm going to go back to that other piece, and I'm going to add some more texture onto that one with the other side of this mashup stencil. So now I'm just showing them, you know, what the surface is that I'm working on, this cheap Walmart board that I tried to do those acrylic pours gone bad. And yeah, so, you know, the audience asks questions, and it's a live show, so, you know, we do a little bit of stopping and explaining and sharing as we move along through the process. So now it's time for me to pick some colors and things that I want to add to these layers, and I've got my Deco Art Media paints out, and you can see on the right hand side there that I have my colors selected. So I'm using some blues. That was one thing that I wanted in here. I like the blue-gray tones with these earthy tones. So I did pick out some colors. So there's a green gold, there's a Prussian blue, there's Quinacridone gold, Paynes gray, and Phthalo blue. And so those are the colors that you're seeing out on my palette. I really like these Deco Art Media paints. They're very fluid. They remind me very much of golden paints, but at a much cheaper price point. So I'm using that Quin Gold to blend things out and pull it together. And then I'm going to add a little gesso to the blue and the gray and just mix up all of those tones together to make a very interesting gray tone that I'm going to use with a sponge tool that I get from Stencil Girl, and just use the smudgy and put that tone in across my collage design to unify it. So now I'm going to work on that little tag that, you know, it's just a packaging tag. And then I've got my second board here that I want to create something from. So answering questions from the audience, continuing to do the same thing with this one that I did with the other one. This time I'm going to reach for the green gold. I really like that bright green and blue combo. And I'm putting that along the central line, this access line that, you know, is where the fibers are that I added earlier, those dollar store fibers that I added with the paste. So just spreading my colors around, getting some of that color added to the overall piece. And then I'm shopping my stash and I'm looking for other interesting, unexpected elements that I'm going to add to this piece. So remember last week we were talking about embossing powders, and I thought, you know, I've got embossing powders, I've got these perfect FX, I've got a number of different things in my stash that I haven't had out or used in a long time, and let's get them out. Let's do something different. So I'm going to grab some of those things and get my piece coated with some ink. This is a clear dauber applicator from Ranger Ink, and it just has a clear pigment ink in it that's sticky so that the embossing powder is going to stick to it. I'm going to put that copper on there, and I'm going to heat set it. And this is Emerald Creek embossing powder. It's really interesting because it has different sizes of chunks and coloration in it. And as you heat it, you're going to see that you're getting this really mottled, interesting look. So as it's hot, I can go back to my cup with a little spoon and just add some to the hot embossing powder and build up my layers this way. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just dipping in, heating my powder, adding some more, and then I'm going to reach for my bronze embossing powder because, hey, copper, bronze, you know, metal, it all goes together, right? It's all good. So, yeah, now I'm adding the bronze to that. And what I'm thinking is I want to add a focal image or, you know, a piece to go to the focal point on this particular piece that has a metallic look to it. So I'm going to add some of that Paynes gray to the edge just to highlight that piece in the middle and blend it out a little bit in the corners. And I'm going to let that dry and then grab my other piece because I need to, you know, start wrapping things up. We're getting towards the end of the show and I need to get my embellishments and focal points on here. I'm using some archival ink to do some edging with in browns and blacks. I think this brown is coffee. That's a Wendy Vicky color. And yeah, I use archivals because they are permanent and they're not going to move with water. So I do spray these things to seal them, and I don't want something moving after I've created. Now there, I'm having a little trouble. The paper is pilling up, so I'm getting a reveal I did not want. And that's a cobalt blue archival ink that I also used in the edging. I've got these two butterfly die cuts, and I'm going to take that cobalt blue and edge those butterfly images, and then I'm going to grab another Wendy Vicky Orange Blossom archival ink pad. You know, I love the orange-blue combination, and these butterflies were just calling for that orange on their wings. And I've got that Quin Gold in the background, so it all plays off of one another really nicely. I'm going to use some more tape, and I'm looking at the embellishments and things that I have. I'm going to glue a piece of tape down. This is just that wallboard tape for texture, and then I've got this tag that we've been creating all along, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, you know, I just don't like that straight edge. I need to do something about the straight edge on that tag. So I'm going to tear it. I'm going to, you know, take some stuff white gesso and push things back a little bit. And I end up tearing down the edge of that. Once I see it on my piece, I'm just saying, nope, don't like that. And once I tear it, I like it a lot better, but you know, I still think it needs more texture and blotting out some of that. So I'm using my little scruffy sponge, whatever they call it, and gonna glue that down onto my piece, and I'm gonna end up adding those butterflies. So I'm gonna use some dimensional adhesive to put those on with. You probably want to add some 3D matte gel just to make sure they're secure. But this is an hour-and-a-half show, so you know we keep pushing through, keep trying to get things done. And so I'm using the dimensional adhesive to place them. I'll use a few other embellishments on here. I've got these little kind of like glue dots, I don't know what they call them. They're dots. And they're in colors that I think are coordinating pretty well. So I'm going to use some of those. That's just like having a splash of color on there. I'm also going to take a little bit of that Paynes gray and water it down and use a fan brush and splatter a little bit of that on there just to give it a little more texture. So there I go with the Paynes gray. And thinking I need a little bit more up there on the corner. So yeah, I just keep playing with it, you know, keep playing with it. All right, we're back to panel number 2. So I've got this Perfect FX. These are products from US Art Quest that I've had for a very, 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 very long time. And I love them. I don't know why I don't get this kind of stuff out. I think it's just because we like certain things and we're afraid we're going to use them up. And yeah, so I don't get them out. But I have this brass piece and I'm going to emboss it with some of those embossing powders. There's the copper, chunky copper, and then I'm going to use a little bit of that brass, excuse me, to highlight that and heat set it. And I decide I need to add a little more of that embossing powder to my piece. So, you know, I'm gonna keep playing with it until I get it the way I like it. And, you know, I'll give you some final shots and, you know, once it's all done, you know, it should pull together a little bit better. You know, sometimes I do a little bit of something after the fact once the camera shuts down. I'm looking at those beads and I'm really liking that, but yeah, it's not long enough. And so I need to get some more of those. But I go grab some stuff out of my stash and make it happen. So if you like what you're seeing, I do have a fast play playlist that I'll put up at the top of the screen so that you can go and take a look at what we're doing. If you want to see the slow down version, you know, you want to do the more the play along kind of thing, then go over to my sister channel, Art Joy is Sharing, and you'll find Shell's video over there. I think she also usually does a fast version of the weekly challenge that we give ourselves. So, you know, you can watch it fast, you can watch it slow, you can watch it any way you want to. You can speed through the things that you don't really want to see. But, yeah, we try to provide information for you the best way we know how. So, if you also want to share in our group, our Facebook group is Art Joy of Sharing, and that should be in the description box down below. If you do like this, then hit the little thumbs up and like, share, subscribe, you know, all of that stuff. And I appreciate you having been here with us today. This is just a little, paper clay piece that I'm auditioning, trying to figure out if I'm going to use it on my piece. But here's the ending shots. Remember, you make a difference, so be kind, and we'll see you again next time. So bye for now, folks.